Hey Dan, well let's take a look here. I'm going to go to, let's do Nucor first. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to just tell you what I did. And you're going to feel better, I think, if my trading means anything to you, that I bought at 106.95 on 8.9. So I'm just looking over at my trade platform. So I bought right here at 106.95. So right near the end of right here at the top of the range. I don't know necessarily if it was the end of the day. I don't recall, but right in there. And I didn't make another buy. I did sell 20% of my position into this strength right here, and that was it. So, the market just didn't give me an opportunity it just moved too fast. And I'm not comfortable, adding on to a position right here, even though it would have been the right thing to do given the move today, right? We just don't know that. Now, some of that comes from the move that it made, and some of it comes from the market conditions that we're in and the fact that we've seen things whip around. You saw what RH did today, and I don't want to be caught in something like that. And if I've got a profit, if I'm buying this thing at 106.95, 107, call it 107, and I'm being able to sell the very next day 20% of my position for a $10 profit, I'm going to do that. Now, that doesn't mean that down the road I might buy some more and build that position larger if it continues to trend upward. But it just hasn't given me an opportunity to do that. I just don't feel comfortable in doing that just yet. We need to let the thing work. And if you watch some of my videos, I know there's not as many as Pat does, but I talk a lot about, I love this kind of action. Of course, Pat talks about flat, simple, clean, simple basis. And I just love the sideways action. One of the stocks that I pay a lot of attention to is Apple, and I really like this kind of action. This is just great. Okay, but you're not asking me about Apple. You're asking me about AMD. So that takes care of NUE. So an AMD, I'm in AMD as well. Let's look to see when I bought it. I bought it on 728 at 95.35. 728 at 95.35. So I bought it here. I bought it on this bar at 95, right about in there. And I have only sold 20% of this in a strength. And my initial position was, based on what I have left, my initial position was about a 35%, 30 to 35% position. And I sold 20%. I always sell, my first sell is always 20% because I want to sell a fifth. One of the things that I teach when I do videos is if you're just getting started trading, trade 5 shares so that you can sell 20% of your position into strength. Gives you a feel for it. But I haven't added onto this. I probably missed some opportunities, but in my estimation, this thing has just moved a little bit too fast for me. I like things to, I like things to kind of go up and trend. And now that I've got, a good size, I've got a sizable position left. Not a full position, obviously, but a decent size, 25% or something. I can let this thing kind of track sideways, and maybe it'll pick up again and take off. Maybe it won't, but that's yet to be seen. And again, a lot of it is dependent on the market. I just recognize that this market, although it's grinding higher, it's just whippy. One day the Dow's up, the next day the Dow's down and the NQs are up, and it flips back and forth, and we're rotating into this sector and that sector, and it just happens real fast. It's faster than we've seen in past years, and I just want to be real cognizant of that. All right, so AMD, and then we've got CR, which I do not have a position in. I didn't get in. Now this was on the key list today, right? Not sure when to add. Example CR. So if you bought it, let's see, if you would have, you probably, that's an entry there, but it's not clean and simple. But there was an entry there. It's made a big move, and you've probably just had an opportunity to sell 20% into strength. We're big on that. We just don't like round trips. Round trips are just terrible. And telling that 20% of your position and being able to take those shares and then divide that into your cost basis and set a new spot where you're going to still be profitable without round tripping the trade and giving it some room, it's just huge. I mean, it really is. So I know that your question is all about where do I add on. Well, there just wasn't really a place here. Just, if it tracked sideways a little bit more, maybe you could have added on here. But if you got in today on the $100 trigger, it had a trigger of $100, right? And let's see, did it trade 100? It opened, well, a low of 100. So it opened at, it opened right at 100. So if you would have gotten in right at, you had a buy stop, loaded up and ready to go, you would have gotten in, and you're in great shape. Great shape. Would I add to it at the end of the day? Well, maybe I would a little, not much. If I had more, if I had some from, back down in here, would I add? You bet I would. That's a different story, because that you're building more of a position. But if you're, if you're at 100 and now you add at 103, you're going to want to add just a few shares because you don't want to bring that cost basis up. And just want to be careful with that. Again, because of the market, because of what we've seen. Hope that helps a little bit.